she sexy, so she all for me. Slim waist with the big old butt, I can already tell she's good. So I get her to the room, take her clothes off, put it on me, got the niggas in the doze off. Hit it once, then a nigga cannot go soft. She used to toys, had to tell her turn the rolls off. On the bed, then we finish on the balcony. Spread the legs, got it sounded just like mac and cheese. Paint the face, make it look just like a masterpiece. I'm the best, so I know she gon' run back to me. Got a pretty young thing, getting wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing, she be wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing for sure. In the bed, it's gon' rain for sure. You gon' hear some sound, so baby know how to get loud. Shake the sharp, I might just hit the ground. Sounding like a bear, but I'm beating on my chest. She looked up in my eyes, I know her panties getting wet. Round after round, then she keep going like this. We be getting nasty, gotta clean up this mess. I'm an animal, I'm out control. Baby keep on talking, she might just snatch my soul. This ain't your first time, girl, you is a pro. Oh, got a pretty young thing, getting wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing, she be wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. She outside with it. A pretty young thing, she be wild with it. A pretty young thing, she be wildin'. She a pretty young thing, pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing, getting wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing, she be wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing, getting wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside with it. Got a pretty young thing, she be wildin'. Got a pretty young thing, got a pretty young thing. Got a pretty young thing, she be wild with it. Got a pretty young thing, she outside.